Um, okay, good evening, guys. If you can hear me, can you speak up?
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so my voice is clear, Abby.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening,
Yes, clear
everybody.
enough.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, boss. Okay, so we are starting our first HTML and CSS class today. First of many to come this month that will be hosting every Thursday. So yeah, let's jump into it. My name is Efe, and hold on. My name is Efe, and yeah, I'll be the one taking you guys on this course. Okay. So, so for the beginners here, the very, very beginners that don't know what developers are. So, what developers are people that are responsible for how a website works. And we have different types of developer. We have the one that deal with the front end. We have the one that deal with the back end, and we have the full stack. And those ones are the guys that can do both. Okay. So front end developers are they are basically responsible for the client side of a web page, how it behaves, how it interacts with the user. Whereas the back end developers are they are developer that deals with the server side of a website. Like example, when you want to sign up for a Facebook account, you give it your number and you give it a password and you click sign up. Once you click that sign up, it runs some magic underneath the hood and it sends this data to a server to keep it safe and sound for you. So whenever you try to log in, you will send a request to that server to get those data and it returns it back to you. And we'll be concentrating on front end for for now. We won't be going into back end for the scope of this study. Okay. Okay. So moving on. What do you have to know to be a front end developer? You have to have the basic knowledge of HTML. You have to know what CSS is. And you also know how to use JavaScript. Those are the three important things you need to know to be a front end developer. And well, what do they do? Well, you know what? Let's say a web page is like the human body, and the HTML is basically the skeleton of the body. It renders the structure of the web page, as we're gonna see. Hold on. Oh, I don't know what happened to those people. They should try joining again. And they are back. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Why does it keep denying them? Okay. And CSS is like our skin. It makes the web page beautiful, makes it nice, as we are still gonna see. While JavaScript is like the brain, JavaScript is like the brain. It helps us process and execute actions, which you're gonna see once you start the JavaScript class. And well, how does the web work? Basically, I have a picture here to explain to you how the web work. And that's when you when you click on a website. When you click on the website, what happens is that you send a request to the server. The server is where it's like a computer that's optimized to help to keep to store information. So it goes there, gets information that's needed, and return it back to the web page. So instead of let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to do some. stuffs here, but don't worry about what it is for the meantime. I'll show you later what it means. So if you go to the okay, if you click on inspect to open this tab for you, and if you click on the network tool, let's go to let's say google.com. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Yep, keeps loading. So overall, we got 49 requests. What happened is that the moment you clicked on this URL here, it sends a request. Let me show you that image again. It sends a request to the server like, hey, this person wants to access us. What do we need? What can we show this person? And the server is like, okay, I got you, bro. It gets the whole documents and pictures and everything that's needed, and it sends it back to us. This is the front end, this blue circle is the front end, and this red is the back end. So the back end sends to us the response. So basically everything you're seeing here is a response. So we got 53 response from the server side. You understand me? And let me show you. I think I'm looking for something like an image. This is an image gotten back from them. This is a whole lot of other stuffs which we'll maybe look into during the scope of this course that is that's gotten from the server side, and it renders it. So that's basically the interaction between the front end and the back end. So can you become a web developer? That's some questions some beginners do have. Can I become a web developer? And the thing is, well, if you have a computer, and internet, and self motivation to take learning into your hands, I can confidently answer you yes that you can become a web developer. All you need is a computer. And I remember some people saying they don't have a laptop. You can try for now, but over time you will need that laptop, to make life easier for you. And well, learning about web development is not only for introverts, nerds, geeks, and stuff like that. Anybody can learn web development. You understand me? It's one of those careers that you can just be on your own and teach yourself without having to go to school, and still make waves in the tech industry. You understand me? So the next this thing I'm gonna show you is from Stack Overflow. And what this picture is all about is about well, students, professional developers, and okay, professional developers and students. But this one is focusing on the professional developers. And you can see that 63% of professional developers actually studied computer science and something related to that, while over 36% of developers didn't even study anything that concerned computer science. That's to let you know that you can actually become a professional developer without actually studying computer science, without actually having a computer science degree. You understand me? You're very free to start your web development career. Um, Additionally, you don't really have to be a web developer to learn web development. What I mean is that you don't have to be a web developer to just you know develop webs. It's if imagine if you're working as maybe a customer care representative, you're working for sales in a computer related world. It's good for you to have this basic knowledge, so when stuff like that are being discussed, you won't be lost should you become a web developer. The thing about web development, as me and Mr. Tochi was discussing earlier, is that the industry is ever growing. The industry is ever growing. There's the demand is high, and that's the stuff. The demand for web development is high, and there is money in web development. Web development is the new oil money, honestly. And if you can see, this is a chart about people, web developers at let me just say developers at United States and hold on. Sorry for my scary looking wallpaper. Okay, so well, let's not focus on everything. Let's just focus on the front end here. And you can see that a front end developer earn about 103K annually. So that's not bad if you do ask me. You understand me? So there's money in it. There's money in it. And that's one of the reasons we most of us are studying this web development stuff. You understand me? So well, how do you become a web developer? Well, first thing first is that you're already on your way to becoming a web developer because you're in the coders den. You're already on your way there. Well, secondly is I've showed you earlier that this web development it has money, it's promising, and there's nothing that's promising and can put good food on your table without you putting your work in. You understand me? You have to put that work in. You understand? You really have to. You know what? Let me leave that. The more you grow in the field, the more you're gonna see you have to put in the work. You understand? You won't just rest and study something today and come back 2 weeks later and study it and then come back 3 months later and then 1 year later you see you're looking for a job. That's not how it works. You understand me? And the third the third one is self discipline, and that's well, there are some of you if you've tried your hand before at tech, you should know that there's this point you get and you're just tired. Everything is tiring. You understand me? You'll be like, you know what? Let me skip. Let me skip today. That's one thing I would like to tell everybody. If it's possible for you, try as much as possible to code at least code or learn something cool about coding at least once per day, because this is how your mind works. You're coding, you're typing some code, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm tired. Let me leave the work for tomorrow. Tomorrow gets here, be like, you know what? Let's leave it to next tomorrow. And next tomorrow gets here, you're like, you know what? 3 days, and that's how you keep compounding, and that's how. Once again, I'm very, 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 very sorry for my wallpaper to those it do scare. So, as I was saying about self-discipline, and that's how you start to recline. Your 1 day will turn to 2 days, your 2 days will turn to 1 week, and from 1 week, that's 1 month, and before you know you stop coding. You're like, you know what, I no key person make coding rest. You have to be disciplined. That's one thing about it. Okay, so moving on, tools needed for this course are, well, we're basically needing only two tools. That's the developers tool and a test editor. So people might be wondering what a developer tools is. Well, if you go to your browser, and I will prefer you use a Chrome, because I'll be using Chrome so you can code along with me. And let's go to w3schools.com. Okay, so here's what a developer tool is. You can click on this three icon up here, come down to more tools, and come down to developer tools right here. Or if you're using Windows, you can just do Control Shift I think the command should be a little bit the same for Windows Mac users. I'm not really sure about that. Control Shift and you can have this page here. This is everything here is HTML. You understand me? Everything here HTML, and here is CSS. It's okay if you don't understand most of the things you're seeing here, but just know that is these two things here are the code for this. Well, you don't have to believe me. Let me show you. So if you click on this icon here, I don't know if you've seen this pointer here, and you come down to this learn to code, click on it, it will highlight that portion of the code for you here. I don't know if you've seen it, this learn to code here. So let's do something. Let's edit it and say learn to code from coders 10. How about that? Enter. We just basically changed the whole website. Have you seen that? We just changed it from learn to code to learn to code from coders then. You understand me? This tool is going to be useful for once we start coding and we need to edit some stuff. We don't really know the exact property we are looking for. We can use it to play around with our properties till we get what we are looking for. And the next tool is a text editor. And a text editor is kind of like what we're gonna use to write out our codes. You understand me? There are so many text editors available. You understand? We have we have VS Code, we have Sublime, we have Atom, etc., etc. But I prefer using VS Code because, well, it's beginners friendly, nice and easy to use, and there's a lot of resources online if you ever have any issue. So all you have to do is to just search VS Code, and you come down to the first link here. You click on it, and if you're using Windows, you click on download for Windows. If you're using Mac, it will show you I think download for Mac, and you just download it. So I don't know. Do you guys already have VS Code? I will need a response to that.
As for me, I've not yet downloaded it.
Yes.
Okay, so 1-1.
I've
Any other
downloaded it.
person? Okay, two people have it. Uh huh.
Yes. Yeah, I have it too.
Okay. The thing is, for those that don't have it, you can head over to the place to the you can head over to Google and search for VS Code, or you can just go directly to this link and you download it. I'm going to be a little bit slow while I'm waiting for you to download it. But anyways, if you have like a pen and paper, you can jot down some stuffs I'll be saying, and it will help you out later. Or if you have any problem, you can always hit me up at Raja, and I'll help you out. So moving on, why use VS Code? I already said it is it's fun to use, it's beginners friendly, it has a lot of resources to help you out in case you're stuck. And the next one is how to use VS Code and VS Code extensions. Okay, well, I already have VS Code installed on my system. So this is VS Code. Can that person mute his or her mic, please? Hello, your mic is on. Thank you very much. So this is VS Code, and I think if you do open yours, you're gonna have something very, very similar to this. It's used to once you just click on new file. Um, okay, let me use this. That's a special setting. When you click on a new file, this is what you're gonna get. You can type anything you want here, anything you want, you can get it. But what we are looking for is HTML. So I don't just follow my mouse down here to plain text. Click on plain text. It's gonna show you a bunch of programming languages and markup languages. So we just search for HTML. Now it knows that it's now reading this particular page as a HTML document. You understand me? So we can start playing around with some HTML tags. An example is, let me just do this. That's this, and click enter. It knows what this is. Immediately it renders it for me. Don't bother yourself about what this is for now. But what I want to show you is, let me do another one. So this is a new page, and if we click on that same thing I just did and we click on enter, it's just gonna keep going. It doesn't understand what we're asking it to do. You understand? So always set it to HTML down here. Or by the time you're done, you can save your file, and you can save it. Once you're saving it, you can just call it on let's just call it new, whatever. Under the save as type, we can click on there and go to HTML there, and we click on save. It's gonna save it as an HTML file. And now if I do that same shortcut again, it understands what I want it to do. So secondly, this is well, let me show you some stuff. The first one here is let me delete everything here. So once you click on this, it's gonna show you this. If you have a folder containing your code, you can click on this to open it. If you don't, well, you can create them here. But now I want you to go down to this extensions place, and I'm going to show you some extensions that will make coding a little bit easier for you. I have some here. Uh, don't mind some of them. The ones that you may need are stuffs like auto rename tag, and let me show you an example of what you can do. Let me create a HTML document. So let me just call the HTML tag. Don't worry about what this is. So what I can do is once I start cleaning this div, it's cleaning this other one for me too. I don't know if you can see that. And if I start renaming it to let's say blah blah, it's also renaming it for me. You understand? It makes coding easier for you than for you to rename the first one and then go and rename the second one. So that's an important extension if you're interested in that. That's called the auto rename tag, created by this I think June Han, and it has been downloaded 8.6 million times. So yeah, nice extension. I also have this close HTML slash XML tag by Compulum. But I think VS Code can now do this on its own. You understand? It auto closed. Okay, no, I don't think you will need it. I think VS Code can do that on its own. Another very, very important one we need is live server. Um, so let me let me show you something. Imagine. So this is VS Code, and let's create something here. Let me just say H1 heading. Don't worry what any of these tag mean. We'll get into them. P paragraph. Let's stop here and let me save this on my desktop. Save. So if I want to see what this can do, all what I have to do is come to my desktop, and you can see this is what we created, untitled one. And if we click on it, this is what it does: heading, paragraph. Let's put this to the side and put our VS Code to the side. So let's say I want to change paragraph to color. I'm bad at naming things. So once we save this, we have to come here and click on refresh before the change is processed. So let's say I want to change it from the heading from that to, let's say, coders. Then if I save that, we have to come here and refresh. So you see, that's a little bit stressful, and that's where the live server comes in. You understand me? So try to install this live server. I think created by Ritwik Day. It has been downloaded 20.3 million times. So no be small extension. Okay, so let's come to our desktop and let's create a new folder, and let's call it first HTML course. Not bad. And let's go back to VS Code. We can easily just, oh, let me put my VS Code. Yes. This PowerPoint is not getting me. Okay, you know what? Let's just come here and press Control. You don't have to come here. You can come here and open folder, or you can just use the shortcut Control O, and you just come to first HTML course, which is our desktop, and we click on Open. Well, there's nothing there for now, so we can create a file index. Okay. No, we have. Hold on. We have to open the folder. Yeah, I think that'll be easier for us. Sorry, yeah, let's open it here, because the other way you have to have your files already inside. You can't create files in it, but this will help us to create files straight into it. So if we click on new file here, let's call it index.html. Index is always used to represent the home page of a HTML document. So let me. So let's do the same thing we did earlier. H1 coders, then
6:35.
yes, I'm aware of the time, sir. Thank you. Create a paragraph tag and say I love coding. Okay, so let's save this and so we can go and use the other method to go and open it, drag it to the Chrome, or or we can just use the once you install the live server, you're going to have this option down here, this go live. Once you click on the go live, we wait for it to start, and there it is, nice and beautiful, our code. But you may be asking, what's special about it? Well, yes, where it gets special. Let's edit it to I love coding to I love HTML, and let's save this. Wait, hold on. I don't know why it's not responding. You know what? Let's close it and let me go live again. Okay, so as you can see, this is the error it's giving us. Live reload is not possible without body or head tag. Okay, fine. We understand this issue. So let's just give it the head tag. Please don't worry about what any of this means for now. And I think I'll explain it later. Let me just use this shortcut. And let's give it a body of the paragraph. I love ML, and let's save that. Close this and let's run it again. Okay, so I love HTML is displaying, and if we clean the this and we save it, have you seen that? Immediately it reloads it for us. And let's say I love that's then, and I save that, immediately it's reloaded. So if you can see that. So let's say I change this P tag to maybe a H1 tag, and I save it, immediately it's reloaded. We don't have to come here and click on reload. Understand me? And that's the nice thing about that extension. So we are done with the extension. So let's move on to what is HTML. Well, to understand what HTML is, let's break down the acronym into two parts: the HT and the ML. The HT stands for hypertext, which basically means a page that can link to other pages. And ML stands for markup language, which is basically any language that can tell us, that can help us, okay, that can help us display our digital document in a particular format. Um, you also know that HTML is not a programming language but a markup language. A programming language is a language that can process and execute an action. HTML can't do that. So HTML is not a programming language but a markup language. So let me explain what this hypertext and markup language is. So if I go back to my Google Chrome, let's go to first website ever built. Okay. So this right here is the first website ever built, and this is basically what HTML was created for. Just bunch of links that can take us to different pages. So I don't know if you're understanding what the hypertext is. It can help link us to different web pages. Oh, I don't want to go deeper into that side. So different web page. It just links different web pages together. Let me show you what markup language is. So let me say my text area. Okay, I think this is it. My text area dot online. Let's see. It's text. There's this website I'm looking for. I really remember the name. My text area. So let me just say website. See if I can get it. Oh, Okay, finally. I think this is it. Text box actually, not text area. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. I don't want to download you. Okay, you know what? I'll get back to you on that. There's that link. I'll get back to you on that. If we had, okay, you know what? I think I should try and do this and copy it and let's find a notepad. This like a notepad. So I copied it from there and I pasted it here. Can you see how it is? Everything is all packed together. Everything is all jam packed. Everything is squished together. There's no separation. You can see how dirty it looks compared to this. And that's what markup languages are all about. They help us format a digital document. And this is also that same document, but without the markup language. So you can see how horrible it looks. And that's what markup language is. And so bringing them together, HTML means hypertext markup language. I know it's a mouthful, but yeah, that's what it means. Hypertext markup language. So how do we write a HTML document? So let's go back to our VS Code. I already did something like that here, but you know what? Let's start from scratch. First of all, we create what's called a doc type. Now we have different type of HTML, but the current one we are dealing with now is HTML5. There are others that if you want to, you are declaring this to tell the brother that we are working with HTML5. They are maybe HTML 4.1 or so, and they have XHTML, and to display those ones is long. You understand me? So HTML5 just give us something simpler. Just click on doc type and HTML. So before you create any HTML document, you have to first of all declare that it's an HTML5 problem document. I meant to say, and then the next thing you do is to create a HTML tag. This tag contains everything relating to the HTML that we're about to write. And in that, we have what's called a heading, not a heading, a head tag. And this head tag, well, it's not really visible in the web browser. It only has one part that's visible in the web browser, and that's called the title tag. Let's just say my first web page, and let's save this. Go back to. I hope that stuff is still running. Okay, so this is what we did, and you can see there's nothing here. So you may be asking, well, where is the my first web page that we just wrote? Well, here it is, my first web page. This is what is called a title of a document, and you can see each other website that we have opened. They have something similar to that. Have you seen that? So that's called a title tag, and the tag basically just takes the title of your HTML and it's located in the HTML head tag inside the HTML head tag. Well, so after that, we also have okay. Before I move on, let me make sure I'm not forgotten anything there. Okay, I haven't. So we also have the body tag. Sorry. Before I go on, there's one extension I forgot to tell you guys about, and that's called the Prettier extension. It's a very nice extension. You understand me? And I'll show you what it does shortly. So you can also install this, and let me show you what it does. So now you can see how well structured our page is. HTML is here, head is inside. So you can see that head is pushed a little bit inside the HTML tag to show that it is contained within the HTML. Title is contained within the head and it's also pushed a little bit inside. See, I can write my HTML code like this. Nobody will beat me. You understand me? You can even put it like this and put this here. You know, I can scatter the code. I don't care. I can type it anyhow. You understand me? Well, to you, you may understand what you're doing, but when you start working with teams, you understand me, you're gonna have an issue there because people will be unable to read your code properly. You understand? Your code will be dirty and all over the place, and that's where Prettier comes in. So I already have Prettier installed in my VS Code, so you can also try to install that. And if you have any problem, you let me know. So just look at the VS Code and see the moment I click Control S, everything gets arranged immediately. So I don't care. I can just let's put this here. 130. Yeah, put this here. I just clean this. I can put it like this, and I don't even have to even scatter this thing. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to the next tag. That's the body tag. Now, if the body tag is basically the visible part of your web page. That's everything here. That's what the body part is. So once you write body tag, your the browser will know that okay, this is what he wants us to display. So let's say we want to display a header tag of coders, then a paragraph of God help me. I don't know why I just say God help me, but yeah, that. And let's say we have a lot of this central copy and stuff like this. And let's mess up the code a bit. The only reason I'm doing this is to still a little bit kind of show you what PTR can do. So you understand this is all messed up, mumbo jumbled. Let's put more space here. We don't care, because our head no correct. But the moment you click Control S, okay, everything is arranged except for the spaces. So you're gonna be careful with how you keep space. Oh no, actually everything isn't arranged. I think everything is now properly arranged here. That apostrophe question mark sign was what caused an issue with us there. Sorry for that. So I don't know if I should let me I don't know if I should no need to repeat it. You guys get the point. So you can scatter your code, and the moment you click Control S, it arranges for you. And it's better for you not to scatter the code, shall you understand? It's good practice not to scatter your code. So as you can see how arranged VS Code is arranging it for us, is keeping H1 that is contained within the body tag a little bit far from where the body tag starts from. That's to tell us H1 is a child element of this body. You understand? So it keeps it on, it gives it this indentation, you understand, pushes it a little bit to the side. And well, that's basically what body is. And yeah, we have something similar here. So you see it, what is this? So it tells us, it displays whatever we write within it, coders then, coders then, coders then, coders then. You understand? So that's basically what the body tag is all about. Next is well, what's the HTML tag? What are HTML tags and what are HTML elements? Some developers they do have an issue with this. Okay, let me use my VS Code to explain it. This line here, line 6. I don't know if you can see that. This line 6 here. Let me just do something. Just to be sure you can see my screen perfectly. This is called a tag, and a tag is contained within this less than and greater than symbol. You understand? This is called a tag. This is called a tag. This is called a tag. There was HTML element. Well, this line 7 is HTML element. You say, well, what's the difference? Good. HTML element is the beginning of this opening tag plus everything that's included within the tag plus the end tag. That's what's called HTML element. Everything here is an HTML element, but just this is a tag. But this element, you understand? This is also a HTML element. Um, a tag can be a HTML. It was wrong my tongue. A HTML element. So my tongue got twisted there. Sorry. And but not all elements can be HTML Oh my god. HTML tag. Okay. Yeah,
Don't worry, you're fine. You're
HTML
fine.
tag. I tell you, my tongue just with this. I don't know why. So, so this is a tag and this is a tag, but everything here is an element. So let me. So which one do you guys prefer? Should I zoom in to my VS Code or zoom out? Which one do you guys prefer?
Zoom in.
I
Zoom in
should
makes sense.
I should zoom in. Okay, I'll be doing that. Okay. So what are comments in HTML? Well, can you please mute your mic, please? Okay. HTML comments in HTML are bunch of things we can write, but it won't be displayed. So let me display my own browser side by side here. So let's say coders then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please try not to sleep. I'll be done soon. 7, 8. Finally. And let's save this. As you can see, Lifesaver automatically updates it for us. So let's say I don't want this coders then one visible. You understand? I want to keep the code to whatever program I ever comes across my code, but I don't want it to be displayed here. This right here is what's called a comment. And I'll tell you what the shortcut is in a minute, but for the meantime, let me explain to you what it is. This is basically the this and that. So VS Code automatically completes it for me. Anything that you put in between these two, let me just call them tag. Any content you put in between them won't be rendered. Okay, first of all, let's save this. And you see that we no longer have coded then one here. It's gone because we have commented it out. This is a nice place to, let's say I want to put okay, let me actually comment it. Let me say below is a bunch of headings. Let me save this. Well, I wrote the code here. Below is a bunch of headings, but there is nothing like that here. So that's what comments are. It helps you document your code for other programmers or developers to read your code and understand what you're doing there, the reason you're doing it, you understand. But others, non-programmers, they can't understand what's going on underneath the hood. So that's what comments are, and that's the syntax for it. And that's the syntax. Or if you since you're using VS Code, it's a shortcut for it. You just select everything you want to comment and you just press Control slash, and that automatically adds the comment for you on that line. Okay, so that's for comments. So far, do anybody have any question?
No.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
good.
We are good. Can you please off your mic? I've gotten the response. Thank you. Hello, can that person? Okay, thank you. So we are done with comments. Moving on. So that's just what I've been saying since I just basics of HTML. So let me show you a little bit of CSS, which is a short form for cascading style sheet. So let me show you how to, which I said earlier is all about style. As you can see, style sheet. So everything about it is just about styles. So we have three ways of displaying. We have three ways of displaying um, styles. We have the inline style, we have the internal style sheet, and we have the external style sheet. So let me show you an example of that. Let's say I want to change the color of this first coders then to say the color, right? Let's make the color red. Okay, so let's save that and go back to Chrome. As you can see, I've made the first one red. So that's basically what CSS is all about: styling your your HTML. And let me see if I can add something else. What can I do? Font weight. Let's say bold. If I save that, all H1 are already bold, so you won't notice that. So how about I say, let me use this paragraph instead. So let me copy this. That, yeah. Let's say the font weight bold. Let's clean this. Save that. I don't know if you've seen, this is the paragraph here. You understand me? And it just automatically bolded every children of that p tag, and that's called an inline style. You understand me? You just go directly to the tag you want, and you put whatever you want in it. So, well, let's say I want to, let's get this back to what we did earlier, which was the color red. And let's say your boss is like, I want you to style all the H1 tags with red color. Are you gonna start doing this? Actually, that's what you're gonna do. Color red. So imagine if you have like 100 lines of H1 tags, in different parts of your code. Are you gonna be going there, one one to do that? You don't. So that's where we create a new. Write it down here first. Style tag. It's called a style tag. And what we just do is to call whatever tag we want, which is the H1, and we open to a curly bracket. The moment you open a curly bracket, VS Code will automatically close it for you. And let's say color red. And let's cut this. Okay, you know what? Let's put it here. Let's save. Have you seen that? Every H1 has been changed to red, and that's like the advantage of using internal um, style sheet instead of the inline style sheet, because you can just change everything once. But if you want to be using the inline, you have to be doing it one 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 one. But the advantage of the inline is that, assume you want to maybe change just one thing, you understand, just this particular one to let's oh, let's say blue. So you just want to change just the first one to blue, and every other one should be red. You understand? That's where inline, works. You just easy something. You just do it to maybe one or two elements. Okay, so that's the advantage of. I've given you the advantage of inline, and I've given you the disadvantage, and I've also given you the disadvantage of how's it called, the internal style sheet over the internal. But what if you can say, well, so does that mean that there is no way we can change any other style? You understand? Is there no that way we can change the H1 without putting the inline style sheet? Because that inline style sheet, to be honest, it makes the code ugly. So, well, we can put something that's called okay, you know what? Let me hold on to that one for now till we get there. And then there's the last one, the external style sheet, but don't worry about that for now. Over the length of our course, I'm going to show you what that does and why that is the best. But for now, let's just leave that there. And pros and cons of inline styling and internal, we have touched all that, and I'll show you later why external is the best. Well, okay, how to style tags with same name individually. So, like I told you earlier, in putting all your styles here makes your code cleaner. You understand me? But then, what if you just want to style just this one here? You understand me? There's this is called an attribute, and it's called a class attribute. And what that does is it gives it a, let's say, a kind of like, how do I put it, a label. You understand? So let me just call this blue. I want to change this first one to blue. I want to change the fifth one to blue. I want to change the p tag to blue. Understand me? So let me save this one now. We haven't done anything, so there will be no change there. What this class does is that we can call back this class in who's there? Okay, we can call back just the ones we need, to style just the one we need. So okay, let me leave this one here. So all the other H1 will still be red. And this is how you call on class. You put a dot. Pay attention to this. For class, you put a dot and you call the name of the class blue. You understand? That's how we named it. And we open a curly bracket. To make your code nicer to read, it's always good to press the enter key, to make your code like this, to give it that small space to make it easily readable. And let's say color blue. Let me save that. And let me save that. And as you can see, the every H1, every tag that has that class blue has been changed to blue. The H1 changed to blue, the H1 changed to blue, and the P tag changed to blue. So the H1, the H, the fifth H1, and the last P tag all changed to blue. And that's the advantage of class. You can use it to call just a particular um, tag that you want to work on. So let's say maybe test transform, let's say uppercase to change everything to capital letters. And if we save that, you can see that every tag that has that class blue has been changed to all capital letters. I don't know if you can see that. So everything, all capital, including the P tag, everything. I said, God help me it. May God may tell me later. Okay. So everything changed to capital. That's what basically class is. And there's also the second one known as ID, or a unique ID. The difference between it does the same thing as class. So let's put this as an ID there, and let's say ID blue. But when you want to call on it, you call on it using the hashtag. You understand? And once we save this, just this first one that has this ID blue has been changed. All the rest with the class, they are not touched because we're calling it with the hashtag and not the dot. But then you might ask, what's the difference between the class and the ID? And the difference is that you can't name more than one an ID. ID is meant to be unique, you understand, given to just one tag throughout that particular web page. You can maybe call it, across different web pages, but just once in a particular code, HTML code. Okay, and that's it for ID. And well, using dev tools with CSS. Let me let me go back to our Chrome. I remember I said something earlier about dev tools. You can either right click, go down to inspect to open this, and this is the dev tool. Or if you're on Windows, you can do Control Shift I. And I think on Mac it is Command Alt I or Shift I. I don't know, one of them. You can check it out. And what we can do is, let me come down to this H1 here. And you can see that it's telling us the style that this H1 has. It has a color red, and the rest blah 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 that we're not interested in for now. And let's change this from red to let's say, okay, let's actually untick this. Have you seen that? It doesn't even need live server to reload. It does it automatically for us. And we can, let's say, put it back. I think we can even come here, play. Once we click the enter, it updates it for us. This is where you can come to play around with your code. You understand me? To see if something will work. Understand? If you're having issue with something, I don't know maybe the exact way to solve it. You can come here, click on this plus. You have the opportunity to choose whatever tag you want, which is the H1 tag. And we come down here, we type whatever it is we want. Let's say, let's go to the body tag, and we can click on this to add style to the body, and we can say background blue. And you can see that the whole background is blue, and that's what you can use it to just play around with it. And I think that's one of the best way to learn CSS. Just come here, create one file, just come here and play around with it. And this is all our HTML document here, our whole code that we wrote. And we have something down here, script typed text slash JavaScript. Don't worry about that. That's used by live server to help us reload our page. So don't worry about that. It doesn't affect our code in any way. So HTML and CSS validator, well, what are those? It's very common for us to make mistakes with our code. So let's say I'm typing fast. Let's say I didn't put this p tag, didn't put this h1 tag, and let's save it. Let's see what will happen. Well, nothing happened. Everything is displaying perfectly. You understand? Because HTML is not strict. You can mess up your tag and it will still come true for you. But where you have an issue is when you're sending, once you start hosting it and you're the web, once you're the web browser is trying to read it on its own, it's kind of confused. Where's your p tag? Where is it closing? You understand? So there's something called a validator. So you just search for HTML validator and click on the first link. We have the validate by URL, validate by file upload, and the direct input. So let's click on the direct input and go back to our code. Let's copy just the HTML of it. Okay, actually, let's copy everything. Just copy it and go back there. We paste it to check. And it's done checking. Okay, so we got first warning, and the first one is that we should consider adding a language attribute to the HTML. We'll talk about that soon. And you say heading cannot be a child of another heading, and it says line 22. So let's go to see line 22. As you can see, that line 22, basically, without putting that close tag here, we haven't um, tell this document that we are done with this H1. So basically, it's taking this other H1 as its child. You understand? As if this H1 is within this H1. And that's the error message we are receiving here. And yeah. So that's one other it's a really nice tool to add to your development career. You understand me? Because there are sometimes you just write your code and there's a problem somewhere and you don't just understand what's wrong with it. And then the moment you just put it there, immediately it tells you what is wrong. So similarly for HTML, we also have the CSS validator, CSS validator. And we just open this first one here. Wait for it. And let's go by direct input. So before we input this our style, then let me try and spoil something. Let me remove that and let me put equal to. Understand? And that will cause an error in our code. But we don't know, what's wrong with our code at this moment. Let's just assume that. So we can copy this and go here and drop it here and ask it, please help me check my code and tell me what's wrong with it. And we found the following error. Let me that was in 3. And the error is that it does not understand what equal to red is. So now you have an idea where the problem is coming from. Although VS Code is also going to mark it red for you. And let me try to increase my font so you can see it here. It's marking it red for you to show you that I think there's a problem there. You should come check it out. So let's fix that back. And let's copy it again. Let me reduce this back here. Then let's okay, actually let me go back. And let's do this again. Check. No error found. You understand? No error found. But it highlighted it here that that I think we missed that comma there. So it's highlighted. It's telling us there that should put this which we will put that. The thing about that is that it doesn't really matter whether you put it or not, as long as you've closed it. I think where we can cause a problem, maybe instead of let's say we want to add, oh, you know what? Don't worry, we'll look at that later. Okay, so that's what the HTML and CSS validator are. They help you check your code to help you find out errors that you can't see. So people are still joining at this time. Let me admit wow. Okay, so time to start learning HTML. And what we're going to learn in this section is text, links, images, lists, tables, container elements, and structural elements. We're going to start with text first, but I'm not sure we'll be able to move on to links today. So we can try and free up the Muslims to go pray. So first of all, let me start with the HTML boilerplate. Where was the HTML boilerplate? You've seen it before, and that's this. You may be wondering, well, how do I recall everything here? You don't have to put it in memory. The moment you click on this exclamation mark, which is just above the number one, by clicking on Shift and that, and you just press Enter, VS Code knows what you want. Remember to always set this to HTML from plain text. And well, this is what's called the boilerplate of HTML. This is like this structural skeleton of HTML. Also, the first one we have here is doc type HTML, which I've already explained to you as telling the browser this document here is based on HTML5. So moving on to HTML to line 2, we have HTML lang en. Well, lang is a short form for language, and if you just hover your mouse around it, VS Code will give you a little bit of a definition. And en stands for English. So basically, what we are telling it is the attribute says the language of all the text on the page. You understand? We're kind of telling the browser, you know what, we are running with English here. You understand me? As long as you set it to English, I don't think you ever have any problem with that. You understand? Since you're not coding Russian, I don't think you'll be using some fonts that requires you to specify your language under languages. So moving on to the next one, which I should have shown you first. We know what the head tag is. This is where it contains everything that won't be displayed on the body, but it's also part of like an information about. It also has information about our web page, but it won't be shown on our web page except for the title and another one called Fav icon, which you will learn about later on. So, anyways, we have a bunch of other information here: meta chat set, meta HTTP, blah 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 blah. So let's start with the first one on line 4. Meta chat set ETF. It's meta basically means information within an information, data of a data. That's what metadata is all about. So it's giving HTML on its own is like a data, and we're also giving more data about that data. So that's what meta is or metadata is. So what that UTF-8 meta chat set is equal to UTF-8 means is that okay, first of all, what are chart sets? Chart set stands for character sets like A, B, C, G, and the rest. And the thing is that the computer have no idea what that is. So if you write A to the computer, it doesn't understand what you're saying because it's reading everything in binary form. That's in ones and zero. So using chart set helps us to map each character to a numeric value, and that value is then converted to binary code so the computer can understand what we mean. And the first character set that was created was the ASCII character set, which stands for the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. But the issue with it was that it was limited to only the English letters. You understand? We have other letters, but it couldn't understand what those letters were. So over the years, different character set has been created, but the most common one now is the UTF-8, which can represent almost all the characters in the world. So let me give you a short example of it, and let me go to my Google. Let me say, let's come here and say, what is letter A in UTF-8? Let's see. Which is the number is actually 65, but here it is. Okay, this is the Latin. This is not okay. 61 actually, and I was thinking of a small letter at that point. The small letter A is 61, small letter B is 62, and the capital letter A, which I searched for, is 41. You understand? And this is then converted. This 41 is then converted to a binary code that is sent to the computer, so you can understand what the hell it is we are typing. There's another material I was actually looking for that I think was kind of better. Okay, well, this is confusing. Yeah, I was right, and A was 65. But let me find it. This is not the one we are looking for. But it's written here as 65, and I don't know why it's not showing us the one we are looking for. Okay, you know what? You can also do search that on your own. Basically, you can use W3 score, and that's where every element is displayed, and you can get more information about it. So basically, that's what UTF-8 stands for. It helps us to encode our HTML. Um, how did I go this way? Okay, so the next one is viewpoint and content. So that's this is viewpoint and its content. Don't worry too much about what this line. In fact, don't worry about what most of these meta are. As long as they are set, you're okay. But let's talk a little bit about what that is. The viewpoint is basically like the body of your web page, the visible area of that your web page, and that content that says width device dash width, which is this and this initial scale. What they all come together to do is basically the first one sets the width of the viewpoint, and the second one makes our viewpoint looks good in all devices, whether you're using an iPhone, a tablet, whatever. It makes the web page looks nice, and that's basically what it's all about. So moving on, and let's start with this our list that I said earlier. So we are done with the head tag, and we are going on to the body parts. And so we have some text tag, and the first one on our list is the P tag. Well, you've seen me use the P tag before, so that's P, and we can type low. I love coding, and let's save that. So back to our document, as you can see, it's already reloaded because of live server, and this is basically what a paragraph is. It gives us, and once we create, let's say, because you can actually write anything here and just save it, and you see it's gonna be displayed here. But here's where p tags come to help us. As you can see, if we write, although Prettier is automatically saving it and cleaning up that space, but if you keep space like this in your code, understand me, and you save it, although Prettier won't let us, and you save it, it's still gonna be displayed on one line, even though you've written the code in a way that is supposed to be displayed on different lines. We're still gonna put it on one line, but that's where the p tag come in. Let's put if you're wondering how I'm copying it like this, with VS Code, if you want to copy something, you can just, put your cursor at the end and just press, no need to even highlight it, just press Ctrl C and Ctrl V and you can start copying and pasting. And let's save this. As you can see, although Prettier won't let us, but even if we can keep it on the same line, Prettier won't let us. Once you save it, everything is going to be rendered like this because it's a paragraph. And once you're done with the paragraph, you're going to keep space and continue from, the next line. And that's basically what the paragraph tag is. It helps us, write paragraphs, I guess. And then the next tag we're going to look at is the EM tag. And this tag, well, okay, let me explain what this is and I'll show you why I said this. The EM tag should only be used to emphasize on a text, a word, a sentence, and not to be used to italize content. If you want to style your HTML, that's the work of CSS. Don't try to use anything HTML to tag it, to style it. And so if I go back to that my text and let's say, because the EM tag is, that's the EM tag, and let's put this hello here and let's save it and go back to our Chrome. This is the hello, which was done on the second line, the second hello I love you. As you can see, it's italicized. I don't know if that's visible enough. It's italicized, as you can see in the side. So there are some people that will just be like, instead of me to go and use CSS to style it to be italicized, you know what? Let me just use this. That's not the best practice. Always use your CSS to style whatever it is you want to style. And similarly, we have another tag called the strong tag. Okay, let me go to my VS Code first and let me put this side by side. So let's say let's use the strong tag on this hello. And if I X this and I put it here and let me save, look at this third hello here while I save. And once I save it, it becomes bold. Have you seen that? And that's what the strong tag is meant for. And just like that's not what it's meant for. Sorry, not to make it bold. Just like the EM tag it has its own use, as its use is to indicate an important word or words, you know, in a paragraph or wherever in your HTML. It's not meant to be used as a styling tag. HTML did have some tag that could style, and that's the I tag and the B tag. So let me show you. Let's click on the strong. As you can see, the extension is helping me to clean the other strong as well. And let's put the B tag and let's save. So this third hello. So let's save and see what will happen. And we save. Well, nothing happened. Why is that? That's because this tag is called the bold tag. It was created. Its own purpose was just to bold words. That was why it was created. You understand me? Just to bold words. But at the time, it get to a point that the regulators were like, you know what? No, we don't want HTML tags to be able to style. We want them to we want CSS to do the whole work. So similarly on this emphasis, I can change it to I. Okay, it has been done for me, and I save this. I can see that this second one is still in italics. You understand? So they were meant to change words to make words italic, but it's no longer in use and you shouldn't use it. I just say I should put it out there in case you see some old code that still uses something like that. You shouldn't be caught off guard, but don't use it in your code. We're back to our presentation. So we are done with this. Moving on, we have another group of tags called the heading tags, which starts from H1 to H6. Okay, let me go to my VS Code and I think you have seen me use this before, and that is that's the wrong key there. And let's use this second tool you've seen by your side here. This is called the search and replace tool. So we can click on it. You say, what are we looking for? Oof. We're looking for all p tags and replace them with h1 tag. Okay, so it's telling us, are you sure? So yeah, we are sure. Oh. What am I doing there? Okay. Okay, let me clean this up real quick. Yes, let's keep that aside. Let's go back here and we can use the Control F to find all p tags and replace them with h1 tag. Press the enter. Similarly, we come here and we change it to h1. I can just come back here and just put this slide. Back here and put another slide and just save, enter. Changes everything for us. That was basically what I was trying to do with this section. I don't know what the hell I was doing. So if we save that and we go back to you've seen me do this before. So this is basically like a heading, but what you don't know is that it doesn't just have just one. You can use two. It has changed it for us. Use three. And use four. And use five. And use six. And use seven. Let's use it up to eight. You understand? Let's save it. And let's see what happens. Well, we have the first one here. Hello, I love coding with H1, big and bold. We have the second one. Hello, I love coding, big and bold. A little bit lower than the first one. And we have the third one. You see, the more the more we keep increasing the number, the lesser it grows. So, but what happened down here? Hello, I love you, and it's just everything is just being bunched together, whereas we were keeping them on a separate tag. Well, let's count how many heading we have used. One, two, three, four, five, six. Let me show you H1 to H6. So the moment you go past H6, your the browser no longer understands what the hell it is you're typing any longer. So once we pass the 7 mark and the 8 mark, you see it just bundled everything together because it has no idea what the hell we are telling it to do. But for the H1 to 6, it understood what we're trying to tell it to do, and it gave us nice heading. Please, you shouldn't use your headings. You shouldn't, because you want your heading to be a little bit lower like this. You just jump. You just, let me say, you don't include anything like this, and you just, because you want your heading to look like this, you just started from H5. That's not a good way to write HTML. The way HTML is created, the way these heading tags are created to be used is, let's say H1. We have a class. Okay, let's say cohort HTML slash CSS class. Just comment all this for now. Okay, let's just say just a cohort class. You understand? And then we can put, and then we can later go on to say, well, under this class, we'll have HTML and CSS. I want to use the H3. Under this, we have mm, let's say just say tags. And that's how it's used for. That's what it's used for. You start with the H1, and under the H1 it has different tags, and under the H2 it has H3. You can't just start from H1 and just because you want your next heading to look a different way, you just jump to H5, and this is a bad way to code. If you want to do anything styling, you can always put a class with it and go to CSS to style your code. Um, okay, okay, everything here has been explained. So moving on, there's what's called entities in HTML. Well, what are entities? Let's go back to our VS Code and let's keep our browser by the side. Let's uncomment all of this. And let's say I want to put this hello. I want this hello to have a less than sign and a greater than sign. Something like this. The VS Code already even created a closing tag for us, but that's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is we want it to be displayed like this slash hello, um, less than hello, and then greater than. You know, want it to be like that. But the moment you save this code, you're going to see that it's going to show you I love coding and then move on to the rest. And you won't treat this hello as if it's a text. It will treat it like a tag. And tags are not meant to be displayed. And that's where the entities come true for us. So we say, well, we have a problem putting this in our code. And well, how do we do that? That's what's called HTML entity. So before I solve that issue, let me show you how you can find a way on your own to solve it. You can just say HTML entities, and let's go to W3 schools. And I haven't said this before, but W3 schools is a really great place to learn HTML and CSS, on your own free time. Okay, so this is how it's done. You put an ampersand sign here, and then end it with semicolon there. So let me put one less than sign here. So let's put the ampersand signs, and let's put whatever. Okay, let's just put this first. Let's put this here. So to display an entity, we have to first of all put this, and then whatever it is we want, put it in the middle. Well, what we are looking for is the less than sign, which is this. So what do we put in the middle? LT. So let's put LT here, and in between this other one, we can put for the greater than sign GT, and let's save this and go back to our document. And you see, this is what we're trying to display since, and we couldn't. But using these HTML entities, we were able to do that. So that's basically the work of HTML entities. You don't have to, you know, go through a lot of, these stuffs because you're mostly not gonna use them. You're gonna use stuff like, well, copyright, less than, greater than, mm, yeah, maybe the double quotation marks, stuff like that. But all in all, you don't really need it. You understand me? You can actually work without it and just you don't have to like what I mean is you don't have to like cram everything to your brain. You can just, search whatever it is you want and don't no need to cram these stuff into your brain. And that's what entities does. So we move on to before I go on to the next one, I want to tell us what a little bit about URL. URL. Well, what are URL? Uniform resource locator. Okay, cool, nice. But what are they? This right here is called a URL. Have you seen this? When you're saying google.com, this is a URL, and this is called an absolute URL because it's called an absolute because you're calling on this URL from somewhere, from another server. Once you're calling on something from another server, it's called an absolute. Once you're calling something, that's not in your laptop, that's not on your system, then that's called an absolute URL. And then we also have a relative URL. No need to bore you too much about that. Once we enter into link, I'm going to explain it further. But relative URL is basically, links to stuffs that are within your computer, within your system. But don't worry your mind too much about that. I'm gonna explain it further the more we go. Who's joining class this kind of time? Okay, so the next we'll be talking about is hypertext reference or links. And well, they are done using what we call an anchor tag, and you haven't seen that before, which must have a href attribute. This href means hypertext reference. Links can also be embedded with an image, and I'll show you that. And we can also use. Okay, you know what? Let's stop there. Let's start from the beginning. These are done using the anchor tag and must have a href attribute. Let's go back to our code and put this to the side. Mm, okay, let's call on it. And instead of us to be typing out the whole tag, you can just type the first letter, and VS Code will bring up suggestion for you. And that's what it's doing right here. Emmet abbreviation. And the moment you just click enter, everything is there for you. So it says, well, what do you want to link it to? So at the moment, I don't have anything I want to link it to. So let me just leave it blank. And let me write here, hello. And I save. I don't know if you have noticed the difference between. Okay, let me put that down. Let me also put a normal hello alongside it. Let me save this. Can you see the difference between the two? One is kind of blue, kind of purple, and has an underline with it. Whereas this one is just bland. And these are clickable. So I don't know. Let me find a website like okay, let's go to W3 schools. This is called a link. And the moment you click on it, it takes you somewhere, and that's basically what a link is. So back to that's basically what a link is, and is created using the anchor tag, which starts with a and should have a href that links to wherever it is you want to go to. So I've told you a little bit about absolute links. So how about we put google.com here. Let's click on this. Cannot get google.com. Why? Let me show you what we're doing. Let me open this to the side here. Okay, it can't get google.com because this is not just the absolute, this is not just everything about absolute part. Once you want to call on an absolute part, you have to start properly using the I don't know if you can see it here of my screen. So https, and you put the colon, 2// and you put www.google. So okay, let's refresh this. And that's one thing about live server. If you're using live server, the moment you start using link, because live server is only waiting for you to edit something on this particular page, you understand me? So once I change something here, like maybe this coding from this D, and I remove the D and just maybe put E, and I save it, live server is going to run because I've changed something here. But here we're not really changing anything here on our web page, so it's not really reloading that link for us. So we have to actually click on the reload and click on the hello sign, and it will take us straight to Google. And that's what absolute links are. And let me try and show you guys what a relative link is. So let's create another file here, and let's call it about.html, and we call on the boilerplate, and let's say h h1 about me. Excited about it, so I'll put the exclamation mark. So we save this, and let's rename this to about me. Before we go forward, I actually think that this link can work without the HTTPS. Let's go back. And let's reload this. And let's see. Oh, it still can't work without it. It has to work with the HTTPS. My bad. So always note that you have to put HTTPS with it. So but anyways, that's not what I'm about now. I want to show you what a relative link is. So let's once you want to use a relative link, the first thing you do is put a slash. A relative link, like I said earlier, is you want to call on a web page, but that's within your whole website. You know, website can have a bunch of different web pages. So once you're calling something that's within your website but at a different location, that's called a relative URL. But once you're calling something that's not within, like Google is not with us, it's not in my system, I have to go and type out the whole name. You understand? Its whole URL before we can use it, and that's what's called an absolute link. Something that's not within our server, within us, our website. So anyways, this one is, with us, the about.html. Once we this is how relative is done. You put a slash in the front and it gives you the link. And let's save this. And see that its form is different from the Google form. So we go back, and as always we refresh and we click on the about me. Who dey join this kind of thing? And we click on the refresh page. As you can see, it took us to that about me page which we just created, and that's what relative URLs are. A page within our own website. So clicking on this takes us to this and back. And basically that's what it is about that. We can also link can also be embedded in an image, and I haven't shown you guys that tag yet. And okay, you know what? First of all, let's go to the web and let's download an image for your free images. Let's just come here.
So, can you ask them if they understand? Does anybody have any questions so
Oh,
far from
oh,
what they
oh, that's true. I've just been blazing my way through.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you've been going far. You've been sharing knowledge. Don't let go.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys, do you guys have any questions so far? Hello. Do you guys have any questions so far?
Yeah, good evening. I don't really understand that chassis of a thing. Maybe I will message you later so that I will not take the class back.
Okay, about the chassis.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. You can always message me and I will put you through, about it more. But chassis is just, basically tran changing what we are typing to numbers so that the computer can understand what we are doing. But no problem, you can always text me and I will. But also, if you want to, for others that they want to research it on their own, you can always search HTML char set, and like I said, use W3 schools. They are really nice. If you don't like W, I look at HTML char set and you have a bunch of information about it here. You understand me? Or you can just click and just search HTML char set and you can have a bunch of other sources that you can use. Any other question? Please, so more question, please, for those that don't understand.
Yeah, then concerning the tag, is
Mm.
there any big difference between the bold tag and the strong tag?
Okay, the difference is that, like I told you, the bold tag was created to basically style your word. You understand me? To make your word bold. Although it does on the surface, it does look as if they are doing the same thing, but when your browser is reading your code, you understand me, it gets a little bit confused because strong is meant for importance. And if you search for B, HTML bold tag, I don't know, let me see if I can get some information about it. You'll see that is deprecated. That means it shouldn't be used. Understand? Because what they are saying is that whenever you want to bold your text, always use CSS. You understand me? And let me see if I'll have okay, should the tag should be used as a last resort when no other tag is more appropriate. But basically you shouldn't use them. It's deprecated. Let me say, why is HTML code tag deprecated? You understand? It's still a little bit useful for the old HTML, you understand? But for this particular HTML5, they are useless. Their work can be done with CSS entirely. You understand me? And they shouldn't be used. So they are not semantically meaningful. You understand me? Instead, they are better defined in the element style property. So it's better for us to use CSS to style it than to use the B tag. So although strong and did replace them, strong is used to place importance on that word. You understand me? And it's mostly useful for people that are using screen reader. Yeah, people that are using a screen reader. So it does emphasize on that word. It does place more stress on that word. You understand? So that's basically what it's used for. So any other question? Any other question? All right, I'll be moving on. So I just downloaded an image and I wanted to introduce us to a new tag called image tag. And what you just do is just type img and press enter, and VS Code will do the rest. So it has two attributes. And also what these two things with a tag is called an attribute. These stuffs here, as you can see, most tags do have an attribute. Like this HTML, it has a language attribute, meta has a child set attribute, and image has a source attribute and an alternate text attribute. This helps give more meaning to a tag. So this is an image, and let's say we want to display the image we just downloaded. We just put a slash, and it gives us everything that's in our folder. And we click on the download.jpg which we just downloaded. And well, image, as you can, if you can see something about image, let me give it more space so to separate it from other tags. The anchor tag here that's used to create links, it has a closing tag, correct? But if you notice the image, it doesn't have a closing tag. That's because there are some tags that don't require a closing tag because you won't display anything within them. If you want to display an image, you're just going to display an image. You're not displaying anything within that image. And similarly, we also have others like BR, which stands for line break. So let's say I'm typing. Honestly, I have nothing in my brain, so I'm just typing anyhow. Okay, let me put this after the image so you can see it better. Oh, I don't want it. I don't want to use. There's a style I can use to fix it, but I don't want to start entering styles for today. So let me just bring it down here and save. As you can see, the code it was displaying, and when it gets to this GHG, let's separate this and let's go back to our code. This is where we put that BR tag, and once it got to that GHG here, which is this GNH. Oh. We have to put it on full screen to see it properly. So once you go to this GHG, it's supposed to continue on this line, but it broke and took the rest down to this other line. So let me remove it, the BR, so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. So let's clean this out and let's save it and let's go back. You see everything is in one straight line. You understand? And that's what the BR is used for, line break. And it doesn't have a close tag because we are not displaying anything within, between it. We are just putting it there to, what, hey, once it gets here, break the line and take the rest to a new line, and that's all it does. So that's just an example of self-closing tag, which I'll get into later. So back to the image that we were on. That's on this number 12. We use the img tag, which stands for the image element, and we also pass an src attribute with an okay, what kind of link is this actually? I think I'm confused. Can somebody tell me what kind of link is that? Is it an absolute or relative link? Hello, can somebody bail us out?
Yeah, I think it's not an absolute link
Okay, why do you think so?
because relative links are links that help you fetch probably files from within your PC.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is can you please off your mic? I'm echoing back. Okay, thank you. So this is a relative link and not an absolute link because this I've downloaded this picture and this picture is within my computer. So I'm displaying it from within my computer. So this alternate text is well is used to like give a little bit of meaning of what the image is about. Let's say river. And the thing is, if we make a mistake with this, you understand? Let's say the URL is broken and we make a mistake with this. It's gonna show us that there's supposed to be an image here. We don't have the image yet, but this is what the image is all about. It's all about a river, and that's what the alternate text is used for. So putting this back here and saving it gives us this. So that's basically this is basically the these two are basically relatives. If I create a a new tag and say let's say an anchor, the href, and we say https this front slash www.google.com, and we close this and we say search. We click on this. I think for the meantime, I should comment this image out. Let me comment it out for now. Like the display is giving to us. So search the about me is a relative link. It links to something within our computer. We're about closing it. And the absolute link to somewhere outside our website. So this first one here is an absolute is a relative, and the second one here is an absolute. And okay, I did say something earlier about so we can have let me comment this out and let me comment this out. So let me create another tag here, another anchor tag here. So you can just click on A and it will do the rest for us. And let's do this copy this and cut this out and let's save. So what I'm doing is that I'm putting this image within a link. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me keep this on full screen. This is basically a link. Come on, Oshoma, bear me water. Okay. Don't forget to breakfast. So this is basically a link, and this is an image within that link. So we can just take this Google URL here and just copy it and put here, and we save. So going back here, if we refresh this, notice the moment our mouse gets to that image, it changes. That's notify you that there is a I think there is a link here. So the same thing also happens with this other link. The moment you look at the mouse, once the mouse gets to normal letters, it doesn't change to that hand. You understand me? But the moment it gets to a link, it changes to that hand to let you know that I think this thing is clickable. And the moment we click on this link, it will take us straight to Google. You understand me? So we can embed a link within an image. And but I think we will be rounding up. Yeah, let me just finish this link. You can also use a download attribute. What this does is that, so let me comment on this first. The shortcut I'm using is still Control slash to comment a line. And we can come down to this href and let's see, download. This is another attribute, and you can also clean the equal to sign, and you can clean all those off. I don't want to put anything here. Let's just keep it at download. What this does is that the moment you click on this link, it's gonna download the index dot this thing with it HTML. The moment you click on download, I don't know if you can see it down here. It automatically downloads the HTML. On and on it goes. And so yeah, that's for the download attribute. And how far did they go? And the last thing we're gonna do is combining links and ID. Let's do this and so let's make our code a little bit
We can't
longer.
hear you.
Are you serious? You can't hear me? How about now?
Mr. Ife, you're muted.
Uh-uh.
Oh, you're actually muted. It's muted.
When did that happen? Is it better now? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How long has that been going on for?
For like is it 2 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. I haven't been looking at the comment, and somebody is saying, okay, somebody has answered it already. Control slash, and I think we're good to continue. So the next one is combining links and unique ID within a web page. So let's let's create. There's a shortcut we can use to create long text, and that's lorem. I want to just type lorem, just click on enter. Don't worry. When I'm done, you'll see how long it gets. And let's put a h1 tag up here and say html. And let's do a second tag here. Let's just say another h1 for now, and let's say css. Underneath it we have another lorem ipsum, and let's
Look
save
at the
this.
HTML you wrote. Is it tag? Is that a mistake?
Where is that? Oh,
On
oh,
the line
oh, oh,
15.
oh, oh, oh. Thank you very much. I didn't notice that. Thank you very much. That was a mistake. So let's save this. As you can see, Prettier has done a good work here for us. Going back, but I beg, man, I'll mute myself again. Okay, so going back, we have the HTML with the lorem ipsum here, and we have the CSS here. Um, it's not long enough for me, so I'll create another e tag here, and let's say lorem 200 to make it longer. Yes, have you seen that? Well, that's still not enough. I want it to be really, 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 really long. So let's go back to that HTML. What I'm writing is not the point, but I'm about to show you the point of the whole thing. So let's put on that low rem and let's say 200, and we click on that and we save, and that's better. Now that's much good. So what we can do is we can use a H tag here on the CSS, and where's that? That's it here. And we can say well, let's give it an ID. Let's say CSS. I meant an ID tag, ID attribute, and we can say let's call it, okay. Let's just call it CSS actually, and then let's create a new um anchor tag, And let's call it okay. Before I name it, let's close the tag and let's this one be like go. Let's name it go to CSS and this href call it hash CSS. I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. Let's click on this. Did you guys see what happened? Let's go back again. And once I click on go to CSS, it takes me down to this CSS where we kept that ID. So what this does is that you can set a particular place. You understand? Like if you have a very long web page, you can set breakpoints within your code so that it can be easy to navigate it. We can have the go to CSS here, and if we have a longer one down there, I don't you know what let me just create it. And let's say I create another one down here, and let me give another H1. And I say Java. Can you please mute your mic, please? Thank you. And let's say lorem 200. I want to create a whole lot right here. And another p tag here. And we say lorem 200. I'm sorry for this long stuff I'm putting it through. And let's refresh this and web page get longer. We have JavaScript down here. We have HTML here. So as you can see, we can see JavaScript down here. And let's assume it's very, very, very long. I don't want to, put you guys through creating a very, very long one. And then you have to scroll and scroll and scroll. And there might be some people that are not interested in the HTML and the CSS and they just want the JavaScript. And what we can do is we can go up here. And this place that we were creating the links, let me create another link there. We just click on E and let's give it a hashtag. Let's say JS, and we write go to JavaScript. And let's save this. We click on it, nothing happened. We refresh and we click on it, nothing happened. So can somebody tell me why it's not working? Here is my code. And you can actually tell me to go down, in case you want to check anywhere. Can somebody tell me why it's not working? If we go back here and we click on go to CSS, it takes us to CSS. But once we click go to JavaScript, nothing is working. Did anybody see what happened? Maybe what we did wrong. Patiently I wait. Hello, can you guys hear me?
You can hear you.
So can you tell me what I did wrong that's making it not to work? I'm clicking on the hashtag. I did everything. I created a hashtag here, but I'm clicking on it and it's not working. Can somebody tell me what I did wrong? Nobody.
Can you take them through the like explain the task again?
Okay, you know what? Let me explain the CSS again. And if nobody gets it, you guys are taking this as your assignment. So when we went to create the CSS, we went down to the heading tag where we want the thing to link to once we click on that go to CSS, and we gave it an ID of CSS. And we came back here and once it deals with ID, we use hashtag to let it know that this is an ID and not a class. And we put hashtag CSS. And the moment we click on this go to CSS, it takes us to that place that we have marked as CSS. And I'm doing the same thing here with JavaScript. As you can see, here's my JavaScript file, my JavaScript section of it. And I'm going to linger here a bit before I go back up. Now, can somebody tell me what the problem is?
The problem is you did not give the JavaScript, the paragraph, you did not give it an ID.
I don't give it an
You
ID.
gave the ID the as in you didn't give it a name.
I get you. I
As
get
in
you. I get you.
Yeah, correct.
So, another person have a different opinion on that.
I think she's right.
You think she's right? Any other person? Any other person dare to go against them?
Sorry, I did not get the question very well.
Okay, I should start again. Well, you tell me if you need an explanation first, but let me first of all tell you what the question is. Once we click on go to CSS, it's taking us down to CSS. Once I click on go to JavaScript, it's not working. And I've written hashtag JS here, but I don't know what's going on. It's not taking me down to this JavaScript here that I want it to go down to. And that's the problem. But for the CSS, once we click on it, it will take us down here. But for the JavaScript, once we click on it, it's not taking us down here, and I don't know why. So there are some are saying I didn't put the ID here, but I think they might be wrong. So do you have any other opinion on it? So everybody agrees with them. Okay. Let's see if that's true. Mm, let's give it an ID of JS and let's save this and we refresh. So go to JS and it worked. And that's correct. The problem was that we didn't give the JavaScript an ID. And you should always make sure to give whatever you want to reference to an ID. And before we close, let me show you another common one that you might see on websites, which is let's just give this just a hashtag. Let's call it go to top. Let's save that. Come down to our web page. We have go to top here. So what do you think will happen if I click on this go to top? Here is the code. I'm just referencing just a hashtag, which I don't think we have given it to anybody here. So what do you think will happen if I click on that go to top? Will it work? If it works, what will it do? Or won't it work? What do you guys think?
I think it will work. It will just after clicking on it will just take you to the topmost page.
You think so?
Yes.
All right. So any other person? All right then. Nope. Let's try it out. Go to top, and you're right. If you want it to go back to the top, the moment you set that hashtag, don't put anything with it. And once you click on it, it refers us back to the top. And with that comes the end of our class for today. So, any questions?
Anybody has any questions? Can ask. Thank you, Mr. Ife. You did a very, very good job. I learned a lot.
boss, no, they want me now.
You also my brain. I'm very, very happy. You actually like give a lot of the task.
I'm humble,
Does
sir.
anybody have any questions to ask Mr. Ife?
Yeah, please can we get the slides or reference purpose?
Okay, my slides.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to drop it on the Slack channel.
All right.
But we also have, I'm also recording this video. So, there's also a video
Okay.
just in case you would like
That
to
would be
get
better.
that.
Any one of them.
No problem. So, any other person?
So are they going to get an assignment or something to practice? Like, are they going to like have any sort
Well, I'll be dropping some
of
assignments on the Slack
Slack
channel. Yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be some stuff for you to do there. And once
So
again,
they
I'm
can just
apologizing for this my wallpaper. I'll try to change it.
oh it's fine.
Fine. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Did anybody learn anything? If you learned anything you can say what you learned. How was the class? Was it good? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Okay.
See,
Yeah. So this is like your feedback. What should I have done better? Stuff like that. I want your feedback.
Yeah, I think it was when your attention was called to you not carrying us along at first. But I think for the first 1 hour you were just explaining alone. I feel it should be more interactive.
Okay, okay. I promise I'll make it interactive. The thing was that that beginning part was kind of just boring notes and stuff like that, and that's why I didn't really want to linger around it for long because I didn't want to bore you guys out. But that's noted, and I'll do better next time. Any other person? Uh-uh. Nobody at all. I know I
Come
did
on, then.
something wrong, and I'm waiting for someone to point out what I did wrong. Maybe I was too fast. I was too slow. I did something wrong, and I know.
I want to after the meeting.
Okay, we should leave it to after the meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, no
Uh,
problem
that,
now. So hope
that's
you
that's
hope you
that's no problem.
guys hope you guys learned something today.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, and then whatever issue you might have, you can always search and just include W3 schools with it, and you have some resources to work with. Or you can always ask us at the Slack channel or DM us personally. So thank you guys, and that'll be all for today.
Thank you for you guys. Thank you for attending the class.
Yeah,
You guys go to the Slack and the WhatsApp group and also like make some comments and change the conversation.
yeah. So
See,
any issue that you might have with me that you're scared to tell me, you can always go there and go and post it so I can shout on you. All right, take care, everybody.
And you too, thank you very much.
All right, no problem. Oh boy, that me how fun, Michael.
Guy, you did well. You guy, you boss as a
Oh
small
my
boy. I did learn from you.
guy, I fuck up.
You know for
see,
okay, maybe
see.
apart from the interactive parts, but like in terms of preparation,
Uh,
guy, and the knowledge, the basics, it was
I been feeling think gonna do like too much. Like I suppose like stop the class since or something. Like man, don't confuse them.
no, it was nice, and you can always watch it again and it will be recorded. So
Yeah, that's true.
nice. Okay.
Okay, I'm happy the class was a success. Okay, take care.